at TD-ECU Stadium, again for a noon Eastern Time start and a national broadcast on ABC. Coach, thank you for joining us on the call today. If you would take a minute to tie up the game up at UConn and tell us what you expect to see as you play for the division title on Friday against Navy, please.
We ran into a team on the road that in UConn that was very fresh, very excited, played really hard, and our guys played really hard too. We just didn't play very good, and I've never, in all my years of coaching, I've never won a game where you lost the turnover battle 4-0, and as was the case Saturday night, and we've got a few things that we know that we try to do in order to win the game. One of them is to win the turnover battle, which we did not. The other is to run the football effectively and efficiently and stop the run, which we didn't do on either side of the ball. And the other is to score touchdowns in the red zone and prevent touchdowns in the red zone. And we didn't do that either. We kicked the field goal on offense and gave up a touchdown on defense. So kind of a perfect storm of poor play mixed with very, very good and fresh defense, playing at home, playing for a bowl berth or a bowl eligibility, and we didn't rise to the occasion. But we've got to pick ourselves back up off the ground very quickly, in fact, because we've got the biggest game of the season coming up in a short week on Friday. I feel that our guys mourned the loss Saturday night, which they should have. It hurt, obviously, considering where we had been on the season. But we also understand that, this game is for the right to represent the West in the conference championship game. And at the end of the day, that was our only goal that we set out to accomplish at the beginning of the season, was to compete for and win our conference championship in the month of November and December. And we've still certainly got all of that in front of us.
Take questions for Coach Herman, please. *1 on your telephone to join the queue, then the operator will introduce you.
We'll take our next question from Shannon Green.
Good morning, Coach. How are you doing?
Good morning, Shannon. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Headed into obviously this being a shorter week, we have the holiday coming up. What kind of things can you do as a coach to help expedite the learning process to get ready for that triple option offense?
Well, we've been working on it for a long time. Ever since we had some Navy periods during spring practice for our defense. We had some segmented Navy periods during training camp where we introduced the triple option, and then every Sunday we actually practice on Sundays here. The Mondays is our players' day off, and so every Sunday we have about 10 or 15 minutes. So for the last 8 or 9, 10 weeks, every Sunday they've been introduced to it a little bit at a time, but it certainly is very challenging to try to get ready for the triple option and on a short week. So, but I think our coaching staff did a great job in terms of preparing for this week all season.
And coming into, obviously, your first year here at Houston, did you have any inclination that the West Division would be as just completely competitive as it has been?
I did. Yeah, I mean, I was nervous. I was didn't quite know where we stacked up in that division, but I knew certainly that Memphis and Navy were going to be teams that were top 25 caliber teams. Having played Navy last year when I was at Ohio State, I knew, the kind of team that Coach Niumatalolo had coming back, and that they would be very good. And then, even when you look at what Tulsa's done, I think they're either bowl eligible or on the verge of bowl eligibility. So, the West is extremely competitive, and I think we knew that it was going to be that way.
Okay. Thanks, Coach. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.
We will take our next question from Kyle Kinsing with F1 Sports.
Coach, you mentioned playing Navy at Ohio State, and obviously there's the offense there. How do you compare the process of getting ready for the triple option when you have a full summer leading into that first game versus this 6-day turnaround that you're facing right now?
Very different. We at Ohio State, literally every day during training camp, our defense had, 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes going into practice, working on Navy, and then obviously as training camp winds into the, game week preparation, it was, 45 minutes to an hour every day of getting ready for it. So much different. That's why, we saw this when the schedule first came out. We knew we were going to have to make some adjustments throughout the entire season just to give our kids a chance to be ready to go on Friday.
And then kind of big picture with the season wrapping up right now in your first year, how much have you been able to kind of sell the history of Houston football, in the 70s and 80s with the Cotton Bowls and then under Coach Briles and Coach Sumlin, kind of as a building block moving forward for the future of the program?
Well, I think we do a lot of times in recruiting, certainly with, we've got a Heisman Trophy winner here that wore Cougar Red. We've got multiple national award winners in Case Keenum and Andre Ware and David Klingler, and we've got 171 NFL draft picks. We've got I think 12 first-round draft picks, multiple Pro Bowlers. So the history and tradition here, starting all the way back with Coach Yeoman and his fantastic teams that he had, and all the way back to the Southwest Conference days. This is a program that is certainly very rich in tradition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Bill Wagner from the Baltimore Sun Media Group.
Coach, I cover Navy for the Baltimore Sun and the Capital newspaper here in Annapolis. One of the things about Navy's option is they've been very diverse, especially in the last two games. They've gotten huge production from all three elements, the quarterback, the fullback, and the slot backs. Makes it kind of hard to gang up on one element of the option or maybe try to take away. What were your thoughts on that, the diversity that they have displayed?
If you weren't trying to, you already made my ulcer a little bit bigger, so I appreciate that. But this is about as good a Navy offense as we've seen in a long, long time. And obviously everything goes through that quarterback, and he's a fantastic player. He's one of the best players in the history of college football, really. But for them to be able to spread the ball around, I think really adds a different dimension to how you have to defend them in terms of, a lot of times the triple option teams, there's a focal point that you try to take away and say, hey, if we take this away consistently, we can survive if the ball goes other places. But this team's not that way, and the diversity of who's getting the touches and the productivity of those touches makes it, again, probably one of, if not the hardest Navy offense to defend in a long, long time.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
We will take our next question from Dave Matter from the St. Louis Dispatch.
Hi, Tom. When Mack Rhodes interviewed you and hired you about 11 months ago, a year ago, what kind of connection did you have with him?
Prior to, are you asking prior to?
I just mean when you guys met, did you kind of have a bond right away? Did you kind of get each other? What was that connection like?
Yeah, I liked Mac for his directness, his honesty, his competitiveness. You could tell right away that Mac was a guy that certainly, winning was very important to him. The student athlete experience certainly is as well, but he was a competitive, confident guy in his plan and his vision for the future. And so, yeah, we hit it off, and I consider him a friend to this day.
And when you're preparing for these obviously crucial games down the stretch, and your names get tossed around for other jobs. How do you kind of handle that balance? Or what's your approach?
Yeah, the approach is easy. I mean, it's I'm never going to comment about another job, and I just think it's a testament and a compliment to the program that we're building here at the University of Houston and the people that we have in place and what we've been able to accomplish thus far.
Thanks, Tom. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Dave.
Coach, we thank you for the time today and also for your participation throughout the season.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Coach Tom Herman from Houston. Again, the Cougars take on Navy at TD-ECU Stadium, noon Eastern Time on ABC. Up next in Cincinnati, and head coach Tommy Tuberville